Hey guys, welcome to the call. Now, this is a very, very special case study that we're doing to kind of show you how you can use RSSMasher and some other tools like Social Bee and Publer that you can actually be a social media specialist on many different brands with a set it and forget it system. And I'm joined on the call with John Wypick,
Yep.
and we're going to be kind of going over some ideas. And the question was generated by John is, how can I use this for would you call it a senior center, a senior system?
Yeah, it's assisted facility services.
Okay. And they need help on the social media side. And John has kind of stepped in and said, I think I could do something better. So, John, tell me really what you're trying to accomplish with using, RSSMasher and these other tools to help this company.
Well, this is a great company. They do a lot of events. They do a lot of things, and they're not getting any recognition for it. So I have all kinds of content, videos, written articles, little graphics, and so I need to boost their website and get them seen more. So I wanted to develop a syndication network, boost up their social media sites, and start posting like 3 times a day, different types of content. Also, as a benefit for them, once Google starts to see them, they can get $10,000 a month in free ads.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
That's amazing. And the cool thing, if they get 10,000 a month in ads, all you're doing is boosting posts. It's not a complicated anything. You're just boosting the posts that you're being delivered through RSSMasher through Publer.
yeah,
Really,
10,000. Yeah.
that's
So
amazing.
that's what I'm trying to develop is and set it and forget it. How can I do that? Because it is a volunteer position. But yeah, they deserve the recognition.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, guys, on the call today, and this is not a long training call. We're just going to outline some ideas and some strategies of how I'm currently using it in this method. You may not realize it, but Big Penguin Group, RSSMasher Group, a lot of the groups that I'm in, a lot of the pages I do on Facebook, they're generated through two sources: RSSMasher and through Q. And so we're going to go over those today. And I use my content scheduler uh, into the social sites. I use either RSSMasher or I use Social Bee. Now you can use Social Bee, you can use Buffer, you can use Publer. Publer is a great one to use. You can use Hootsuite. Reason I'm using Social Bee, I got it off AppSumo. And Publer, I think, was sold on AppSumo too. So get you one off AppSumo. It's a lifetime deal. That deal. So anyway, here's what we're going to do: is I've got a kind of a lucid chart that we're going to build out for you, just to kind of have a strategy guide of the workflow process of how to do this.
Awesome.
Anyway, let's get started. I'm going to share my screen here, and guys, just if you're on the call, we got some really exciting things about to happen on RSSMasher with the intent of going to Zapier, to Pinterest, to Instagram, and some other things. I'll share that in the coming weeks at some Geek Out Friday sessions. But for now, what we want to do is, how do you set it and forget it for a social continuity system? Okay, so here's the end result is, I'm going to put in here, maybe here's our here is our WordPress /Masher site right in the middle. And this is what's holding the content. I'll just put holding the blog content. And let's go ahead and give this a title up here. Let's call it Social Syndication for a nonprofit. John, you mentioned something, and I thought this is absolutely incredible. How much money is it Google or is it Facebook giving away for these nonprofits?
Google gives $10,000 a month for ads, but you have to establish yourself, and that's what they haven't been able to do.
So they have to be regular with social.
Exactly. They have to show, that they're working it. Yeah.
Okay.
And they are incredible.
Okay.
So we're going to get their name out there.
This is what this is to do, is to build a brand and build a syndicated network of social posts. So they really want to have it inside of a centralized CRM, like either a WordPress or a master site. And it can be a subdomain if you wanted your WordPress to be a subdomain, or it could just be a standalone blog. So in here, what you want to do is you want to be able to push. I'll put in here maybe Facebook groups and pages. And you want to push them back to the site itself, right? And then maybe you even have Pinterest. Let's say you even have IG, let's spell it out, Instagram. And you have in here maybe
Twitter.
And the Senior Citizen Center, they really are probably not going to be in Tumblr or Blogger, but these are, they might be in LinkedIn, but these are going to be your primaries that you're going to send to.
Yeah, and I think basically our target market is donors, because most of the donations come from small donations is the majority of where they make their money. So
inside of here, you're going to be you're going to have your blog content, but you're going to have, what I would call ads, but it's going to be, here's how you donate. Here's how you participate in being a member, or here's how you get your, here's how you can get people into the center itself. So they're, when they get to the blog, that's when you're talking about other things with sidebar ads, lower post ads, and other content. And you could even have some videos in there, talking that, here's what we do. Here's our center. So you could, it's however you want to design the site. But the main thing is nobody's going to visit your site unless they come from somewhere. So you want to bring in organic SEO, and you want to bring in social. So this is your social. You want to bring them in from there, but you also want to bring in organic SEO. Let's just call it search, organic search. And give me a little bit of room here. ADD is kicking in here.
It looks good.
Okay, so these are everything that's pointing back to your content holder. Now, how do you get content in here? And how do you get it out to these social sites? Well, this is where it gets fun. I'm going to put over here, and give us a little bit of room here, RSSMasher. And let's just make it a little bit, oops. These are our sources of content. And then in here, I'm going to put in where I get my Q.
Oh, I got the LTD on that.
This is
at your suggestion, yeah.
This is a heck of a deal right here. Okay, and these are your syndication sources of content coming in, but you can also. I'm going to put up here. Let's put up here. I'm going to use Feedly. This is what I call my my Friday afternoon sitting around doing nothing, just tossing Feedly stuff over. So how would you do that? So I'll put it right here and give us a little bit more room to play around with. There we go. Okay. And we're going to bring Q in also. Oops. Okay. Now, once you have your source of content, now you have to schedule it in here. So let's just put.
So I could use VidPenguin too?
Yes. VidPenguin is great for one-offs.
Okay.
Meaning you go find one video you like, drop it into VidPenguin, and it can drop it into a Masher site. We don't do self-hosted WordPress, but you could do WordPress.com with it. But this is, I use VidPenguin all the time to do, if I see a video I like, I'll just grab the URL, pop it in there, and it puts it into a Masher site.
Yeah, that's how we populated our initially. Yeah, the Masher sites.
Okay. So VP2. And for guys, if you're just joining us on the call, that stands for VidPenguin version 2. And there's, if you find an article, a direct article, there's different ways to get them in here, get them into your social. So let's talk about how do we get all this content into here. Okay. There's two ways that I do it. And I'm going to use RSSMasher. So I'm going to bring it RSSMasher kind of like out here. And the other one, let's just duplicate this, duplicate that. So we've got other content coming in. We've got RSS feeds. This is kind of what, if you're on the call, you probably know I'm a little bit nutty about RSS feeds. And the reason is I want to be able to automate. I want to set it and forget it system. RSS feeds is the best for a set it and forget it system. The other thing is Google Sheets. I'll just call it G Sheets here. So if you have content that has been put into a spreadsheet, like let's say quotes, this is a great example, is quotes. You can have, we've got something coming out on RSSMasher. We've got 82,000 quotes that you're going to be able to select from and automatically send quotes out to Instagram or Pinterest or anything through RSSMasher. So you definitely want to have your own set of G Sheets to put content in. So let's just move this down here. Okay. So I'm going to use RSSMasher. I'm going to drive Feedly to it. I'm going to put RSS feeds in it. I'm going to do G Sheets. Oh, I forgot one other one in here. Let's do YouTube channels.
Yes.
YouTube. Second most searched site in the world is YouTube.
And we are going to be very video heavy.
And the cool thing is you can do with YouTube, you can do YouTube channels and you can do YouTube playlists. So let's just, and they're kind of a different beast is what I would call them. So let's YouTube playlist. I don't want to make this too complicated. You got a whole bunch of boxes and you don't know how they're all formed together. So let's just do this. We'll just say they're all coming into RSSMasher.
And all this training is in the training area too, because we use this to set up the Masher sites, the YouTube playlists and the YouTube channels. So
yeah, we're doing this on the fly too. So if I had time to kind of prepare, I'd make it a lot simpler. But this is about as simplest as I can make it right here. So we're going to have some direct integrations in. Let's go Q and YouTube playlist coming in here. Okay. Okay. So we're feeding into RSSMasher from Feedleads, from RSS feeds, from G Sheets, YouTube playlists, and YouTube channels. Now, what RSSMasher will do is you're going to mash everything together, and then you're going to send a schedule out for each match. So you set up your scheduler for your matches, and we're going to schedule out to WordPress. Now, here's the cool thing: is when you schedule out to WordPress at the exact same time, you can send to other social networks. And I'm going to do something here just to differentiate them. This is when you actually start sending out to your socials. And in here, I'm going to make a note here. It's through Zapier. This is what I use. I use Zapier. And I'm going to use a little bit different method. I'm going Zapier to Social Bee. And I'll put in here our publisher. Is it ER?
I think it's just R. Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. No, it's okay. Let's make a box here that would be easier, I guess. I can put everything in. So Zapier to Social Bee. Publisher. Take this out. Make this smaller. And I'll just. So at the same time that we go out to RSSMasher, we're going to go to Zapier or Social Bee inside the scheduler itself. And then the scheduler is going down here to Facebook. It's going to Pinterest. It's going to Instagram, and it's going. In fact, we're not even going to Twitter, but let's put Twitter. The Twitter over here. Make Twitter smaller. And come to Twitter, and then Twitter. I told you I'm
okay, I like the RSSMasher directly to Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can also do Tumblr at the same time.
Tumblr would could trigger my syndication network.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. This is killer. Yeah.
Let's see. Just gonna kind of clean these up here a little bit, make it a little bit easier. Now, I don't know how much easier, but you can kind of see. Let's see. There we go. Guys, I apologize about my ADD. I like everything to all the lines to match up and it be easy to understand because at some point in time you may want to come back and review this.
Oh yeah, no, much appreciated.
Just center this puppy up here. And Okay. So when you're using Zapier, you're going to build a Zapier webhook, and you're going to integrate it in directly with inside of RSSMasher. And then that one webhook is, and this is typically what I'll do. I'll do one webhook per schedule. So I'll create a new webhook for each schedule I'm sending out. So in this case, inside of Zapier, I'm going to send to a Facebook group, to a Pinterest, and to an Instagram with one Zap. And I think you have to have a paid version of Zapier to do that, but you can hit everything all with that one webhook. So if you have a schedule, a mash and a schedule that is about uh, um, physical activity and physical exercise over 60 years old. So that would be a very special schedule, and it would be different than how to finance your retirement. That would be a different schedule. You're probably going to different groups or different pages, but this is how you would get multiple groups, multiple pages, all from within your RSSMasher, is use a different Zapier webhook.
And all the scheduling is controlled in RSSMasher.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep. And I know Social Bee has it, and I'm sure Publer has a Zapier integration. So you can go, this is how to make it a little bit cheaper on yourself, is go from RSSMasher to Zapier and then send it to Social Bee or Publer, and then Publer would pick it up and they would host all these, and you could send them at different schedules. And that's the important part, is you don't want, if you have something about exercise over 60, you don't want it hitting every single group at the exact same time. I make that mistake fairly frequently, but it would be nice if you staggered it. Like one group, it shows up at noon. The next group, it shows up at 4. So
wow.
it kind of does a little bit of variation. You could do that if you have a scheduler attached to Zapier. So you're just dropping the content into Zapier. Zapier is sharing it with your scheduler, and it's posting into these different groups. Now,
it's a great tip, because I was just going to blast everything at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of it too. I still got zaps that will hit everything at the same time. And on Social Bee, I constantly going into Social Bee trying to rearrange the schedules so they're not hitting at the exact same time. Now, here is where Q comes in. So inside of this, we've got automated content into RSSMasher. Now, Q, this is kind of special, is it's they call it hand curated. It's manually curated content. Now, it's not going to cover every single niche out there, but they do have travel blogs. They have exercise blogs. They have retirement blogs. And so you have people that are finding these articles, and they're doing some type of curated sentence or 2 sentences above it, and then they're putting it into a niche category as a curated category. So inside of Q, you just select which curated category you want, and then you send it to your content scheduler.
Which would be Publer or Social Bee.
Yep. In fact, VP2 needs to be over here. Now, let's put VP2 right here. Okay. So Q, I send in on Q, is I copy this. Post this over here. And you don't need Zapier. I think Q goes direct to Publer. Is that right, John?
I haven't tried it.
Okay. You might check that. If not, you can go Q to Zapier to Publer.
Okay.
So I use Q, and I come in on Q, and I'll go to Social Bee. And then Social Bee is going to share out here. And then it's going to share to all the socials at the same time that it points.
This is exactly what I'm looking for. Yes.
Okay. Now, I don't go with Social Bee, is I don't send to WordPress. because they're really, the curated sentences would be your content. It's one or two sentences and then the article and then the link. So what I do with Social B here is it's purely social. This is how I'm driving social syndication. So I'm going to come over here, go to Facebook. In fact, let's go here, Pinterest, and here's Instagram. There you go. And I'll just pull that down here. So the only difference here at this point, when you're going to Q, it's not going back up to your WordPress. Q is, these are independent standalone articles, and they're pointing back to the original article. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So Q is original articles. You're going to Social B and you're putting them in here. But what this does for you, and what I really like about it, is these are, the articles are typically, they're trending articles, or they're articles that could go viral. I have tracking inside of Rocket Link. And so that's the one thing I like about Social B, is it will create the links and then put them inside of Rocket Link, and then I can track the Rocket Links. The Rocket Links are the ones that are actually showing up in the socials. So when somebody clicks on that link, it goes through my Rocket Link and then off to wherever it's either pointing back here or pointing back to the original article.
Yes, I've been studying your post, and I've seen that. So, and I was wondering how you did the links. Yes.
Yeah, it's just a setting in Social B, and in fact, you can use multiple. Or there's several that you can choose from. I think you could even use your Bitly Pro if you've got one of those. But it's kind of nice to go to one place and look at your links in there. In fact, what I'll do here, I'll just kind of show you what Rocket Link looks like. It takes a little while to load because I got a lot of links in there. And I can tell which ones go to my Twitter account. You know, you're not going to get a lot of action on your Twitter accounts. But as I scroll down through here, the ones that have 0 links, they're typically the ones that went through Twitter. But then I have one here, how to eliminate this. I got 60 clicks into it. This is from a Facebook post. So this is a Facebook group post. Some of these are, yeah, there we go. There's a Facebook group post. So you could tell the Facebook groups, and this is one from Q, selling your digital agency. So I could tell where the original source was, and I can tell how many links. So I have everything all in one dashboard, so I can kind of look to see, well, what's popular. And I can tell my Twitter, I just don't get any engagement. Those are the ones I always get 0. 0, 1, or 2.
You run your original content through here too, your curated content?
Anything that goes through Social B. Okay. So if I'm going to Facebook from Social B, it gets the link gets changed to a Rocket Link. And look at the dates here. I run a lot of content. Usually 50 to 100 links a day go through Rocket Link. Wow. That's why you see, okay, this one here. This was a Q. Wow. I mean, I got 116 clicks off of it. And I went through, this one post, I know where it's going to. It went to a Facebook group, a Twitter, and a Facebook page. That's a lot of engagement right there with something I didn't do. I set it up once inside of here. I set it up Q, I set it up to Social B, and I get 116 clicks yesterday off of it. Wow. Nice. So now we're going back to the idea, are you a social media specialist? This is how you be a social media specialist, is you're dropping content, you set it up, you don't worry about, the stuff from Q, I set it up 6 months ago. And usually there's 2 or 3 articles from Q that get popular every single day. It's not going to be every one, but it's going to be 1 or 2 is going to show anywhere from 60 to 300 clicks through. And they're all coming off social. So I know I'm driving socials either back to the original Q article, or I'm coming off RSSMasher, where I'll see sometimes through Social B, I'll see 50 to 300 posts coming in off RSSMasher to Social B. And I don't mess with Facebook groups or pages. On some of these groups, I set them up a year ago and have never touched them. They're constantly being fed with RSSMasher content. In fact,
so if I'm going from one Instagram post every 5 days to hitting all these places 3 times a day, any problems, or I'm just going to get good positive results?
Here's what I would do is your RSSMasher, you have a scheduler in there, is I would make it 1 post per day going to the Zap. Okay. Twitter, you could send 10 a day to Twitter.
Okay.
But to Zapier, start with 1, warm it up, and after maybe 2 weeks or after a week, go up to 2 per day, and then go up to 3 per day. And then, at some point in time, you probably 3 to 4 a day on Facebook groups. Pinterest, you can do 20 a day on Pinterest. Instagram, probably 3 to 4. You could probably work up to 10 per day on Instagram. And just remember, Instagram is just it's just either images or videos.
Right.
But Facebook groups, that's the one that you can get the most engagement from, is groups and pages. So that's why, even though I'm not getting the link inside of Facebook group from Q, it's going back to the original article content. It's still, I'm giving the people in the group something that is worthy of them clicking through. I'm giving them value. Not everything is going to be promotional or sales. Now, the beauty about all this is when you set this up, you can drop in your own post, into Facebook. You can go into the group and actually create a post. Or in Social B, here's what I do in Social B, is Social B has a Chrome extension. So if there's something in there that I want to individually promote or like, I can use the Chrome extension. I hit the button and boom, it goes out to all these sites for me automatically. But I have 3 groups that I sell out of. So occasionally I'm going to do an affiliate post. So I'll go in and create the post with the affiliate link in there, or by a landing page, and I'll drop it into either Social B, I'll drop it in Social B, and it will point back to the affiliate page or a bridge page or some type of landing page. I don't do a lot of promotions in the group, but when I do, I get pretty decent response, especially if I'm giving value add to it.
So if we have corporate donors, we could drop in a corporate donor news.
Yes.
Awesome. Yes.
And you're using these groups, you're adding value to the person's life if you're talking about value, things that person would be interested in clicking through to. And that's you have to do a little bit of research to build what do I want in this group. And with your Facebook account or your client's Facebook account, is you can really, they can create as many groups as they want and as many pages that they want. You're going to get better response through groups than your pages. However, if Google gives away money to orgs and nonprofit, Facebook, I know, does the same thing to .orgs, where you can use their money to boost your pages to like-minded people that would be interested in that type of page information. So you can use this free money to promote everything. Does all that make sense, John?
This is amazing. No, this is,
Okay.
I'm ready to get started. Yeah.
Let's talk about RSSMasher, because that's kind of what we're here for.
That's the heart and soul.
That's the heart and soul. And I kind of jumped over it because Q is, you want Q to be added in there. This is part of the set it and forget it system. Q is going to help you with organic search, and RSSMasher is also going to help with some organic search. But you got to remember, most of the stuff in RSSMasher that's coming from RSS feed is somebody else's content, so they're already getting ranked. But what you're using is somebody else's content for your social drives, and you're using their content to drive it back to your WordPress site. That's the whole trick of this, is you pull RSS feeds into RSSMasher. It's a set it and forget it system. Feedly, we teach a training called Feedly to G Sheets to RSSMasher. So whenever you go, Feedly is just a grouping of RSS content, but it's organized really well. So when the feeds are coming in, if you like it, you can move it to a board. Now that's the magic. When it hits a board inside of Feedly, you can automate it. And I have Zapier set up. So when I put things in certain boards, they go to certain zaps. Zapier's sitting there listening for boards. And then it's going to take that content, all the content of that post, and it's going to put it into a G Sheet for me. And then inside the G Sheet, I run it straight into RSSMasher. And then RSSMasher drops it into Zapier to Social Bee and into the WordPress or Basher site. So what I do, and this is kind of interesting, I talked to John earlier about it, is I have some grilling groups, grilling sites, outdoor kitchen and patio grilling and hamburger and barbecue sites that I drop content into in my own groups and my own pages. And how I do it is I've got a few RSS feeds going in, but not a lot. But I'll sit on Feedly on a Friday afternoon, and I may have 300 posts, and I'm looking for the most popular, and I send them off to a certain board. And that board I have hooked to Zapier, goes into G Sheet, then it goes to RSSMasher, then it gets dropped in the groups, the Pinterest, and I'm not doing Instagram with the grilling, but I do Facebook groups and Twitter, and it's pushing into a WordPress site for my amazing hamburger. So it's not fully automated, but it is very, very easy and simple to use. And the beauty about it is using this method, you could set it up for a client. So the client would sit there on their Feedly account, and they can feel like they're doing some social posting. And all they're doing is they're finding something and putting it in a board. And then the system takes over, automates, and goes into Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, into a Masher site or WordPress, all automatically because you've set it up with Zapier and G Sheets and RSSMasher. But the client gets to feel like they're posting. And it makes them feel like they're the social media specialist. And that's the trick here, is they get to do something, and then they start seeing it in Facebook posts. And so you're making them a social media marketer, and you're not doing the work.
This is a gold mine. I mean, I'm seeing it for the nonprofit, but I'm also thinking, wow, yes, this is a moneymaker. This is automated content that they can feel like they're running. I love it.
Yep. And the beauty about this, especially if it's for a client, is if they decide I can do this myself, well, they certainly can. And you just go to Zapier and shut Zapier down. And then they're going to realize, well, I was on Feedly and it's not showing up in my socials anymore. Maybe I need to go back to this social media machine that
there you
John
go.
built. Yeah.
There you go. Yes.
And like Feedly, YouTube playlists are almost identical. Now, the playlist method is you don't have to use that, and we have a direct integration for playlists. So what you do is you can go through all the videos, and what I do this for every single video view site I have. I have playlists involved, and I've got YouTube channels involved. But the playlist method is you search for a category, and I'll give you an example. Is I just finished one called funnydoorbell.com, and it's about doorbell videos. And that's the hottest thing right now is doorbell videos. Weird things you see, ghosts you see, Bigfoot walks in front of the doorbell. So I will go to YouTube and I will do doorbell videos. And I create a playlist called doorbell videos. So any of the videos I like, I will just add it to a playlist. I just keep adding. I can get about 12 to 15 of them in a playlist. And then that playlist I put inside of RSSMasher. And then I schedule it out to go to the video view masher site. And at the same time, it's going to Twitter, Tumblr, Blogger inside of RSSMasher. And I'm also sending it to Zapier to social media. So I've got some really good videos that are doorbell videos that, just like Feedly, is I'll spend an afternoon, I'll fill up 20 playlists in an afternoon of 15 videos. So I've got 300 videos that are scheduled for the next 30 days. And so I feel like I'm doing something, or I can have my VA feel like they're doing something, or, this would be the same with your senior set, your social media specialist. So you can train them, go to Feedly, go to YouTube, and they can feel like they're doing something on their side. And this is the machine that you built behind it. So you can, use the playlist method, or you can just attach a direct YouTube channel. And this is what I do a lot of times is I'll find a YouTube channel that I keep putting in the playlist, and I go, I'll just put the channel itself into RSSMasher. And then I go through the automated machine of posting content. So this is what I use. Wayne and I both use it for the same purpose. We do have ads on here. This is, a recurring revenue model for us, is putting ads on Masher sites and WordPress sites. But this is not the only thing we use it for. Is this right here, this Facebook group, that's your money maker. That's what you're going to get your donors and your people that are passionate about a niche. That's where they're going to fall into, is Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest. And you can do all that through something, either through Zapier, direct into it, or you can use a content scheduling tool like Social Beam, Tumblr, Buffer, Hootsuite. And we got more training on this, and we've also talked about it on Geek Out Friday. I just wanted John had a great idea about how he wanted to basically syndicate a steady stream of good content to help this nonprofit out with. And he's got John, you got the beta of everything. So I think
I got the beta of everything.
You have unlimited everything. So we got some more beta products coming out later this year. But if we do a beta product, definitely hop on the beta. I mean, you're going to get everything I get, everything Wayne gets, and you'll never lack for limits. But John, this was a great question, and I appreciate you letting me share it with the group. Is how do you set everything up to have a steady stream of content and still not take away from the client side that they want to be part of posting? The client wants to feel like they're involved in some way. So you set them up a Feedly, set them up, show them how to do a YouTube playlist.
Yeah.
And then you could set up everything else yourself. Whether it's a client, a nonprofit, you're volunteering this information. You build the machine. You've got the tools to build the machine.
Yes.
You've got RSSMasher. You've got all the other tools in here. And just set it up and forget about it. And that's the beauty of this whole system. So,
yeah, this is great. And I'll keep everybody up to date. Like I said, our goal is that 10 grand a month from Google. And I think this is going to get it for us.
Yeah. And guys, you think about it, is if you set this up and they're getting 10 grand and Google ad spend, and you're getting 10 grand from Facebook, I mean, $20,000 a month in advertising for free because they have a social media presence.
Yeah.
I mean, how much are they going to pay you? I know you're doing this as a volunteer to help them, but this is a great service that you can offer to a client and not spend a lot of time with them. And it also helps you be in their not in their face, but in sight, mind, and body, every time they go to Feedly YouTube playlist and it goes through the system, they'll go, I sure am glad I invested in John's social media syndication program.
Yeah, well, when they start making money.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, thank you for joining us on the call, and hopefully we'll be dropping in some other good case study training, and John's going to put all this together, and probably we'll revisit this in about 30 days to see how everything is flowing through.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Damon.
Thank you very much. John, just hang on the call. I'll be right back with you here.
Yep.